finally reach the peace inside again.
Yes. Yes, this is the what I said again and again. Incidental nature, intrinsic nature. Intrinsic nature, the peace was already there, but you allowed the incidental nature to take over you just
Yeah.
for a couple of $100, maybe thousands of dollars. And those $1,000 change his hand. I will also file an amendment tax for you. So I will charge you just double the amount.
In, in in your case, it's not about money, so it's not. I am not care about it.
Yes, so understand the incidental nature. So when I keep the incidental nature at a distance and continue to live into that intrinsic nature of calmness and peace, the life is still joyful. Outer situation events continues to change. Incidental nature and incidental nature. Who causes this? This is caused by the default mind.
Yeah, the fear inside
Yeah,
push mind to act.
yeah, yeah. So, because then, incidental nature, if I'm getting attached to the incidental nature, I see the event, I have to act on it, I have to react on it, and from one reaction to the second reaction to the third. And that creates a projection, it creates a delusion, and the deluded mind is full of anxiety and the fear. Full of anxiety and the fear. So, you should have remembered what you should have remembered the 5 step, any step of meditation. Just see that how it is possible. Eyes are closed, place, position, and posture. Place, position, and posture. You see incidental versus intrinsic nature. So we are, when we say place, position, and posture, it is incidental nature. Place, position, and posture. It is basically that is why it is taking some time. The place, position, and posture is incidental nature. So because the because it is the default mind causes the incidental nature or hook to the incidental nature, so we move away from place, position, and posture by moving the mind consciously. It means default intellect moves consciously to place, position, and posture. When you move consciously, you recognize it is incidental, temporary. Let me check and move ahead. But it helps us because we want to have a sense of steadiness, and that steadiness can reflect our intrinsic nature. Leads to a kind of steadiness. How? Like a pond where the mud settles down so that we can see at the pond in depth. That is what is the heightened state of awareness. When I see in depth, that is the higher state of consciousness. It is always there, but it is blocked. So the place, position, avoiding failure. How to avoid the failure? Again, simple. Oh, what is simple? What is simple? So simple is that we don't allow the body to move. Means there is a deliberate effort. Deliberate effort means committed approach. It is not casual approach. So what happened to you in that event? Your mind had a casual approach which is impulsive in nature, and that has led to disturbances which continued for a day. So maintain a balanced posture, avoiding leaning on either side, and you have a sensation, you have a comfort, and you have a kind of steadiness is there. We are understanding and doing the practice. So what we are doing, I'm giving you the knowledge, the clear the understanding, better it is. So this alignment prevents the physical unease. Again, it is incidental. That could disrupt mental focus. So, that is why we want to have a place, position, and posture, so that it should not disrupt our journey inside. We are able to maintain our self-awareness regarding the place, position, and how we raise our self-awareness by maintaining, recognizing the place, position, and posture is not changing. So then we move into being direction. So direction means I gave you a simple name of it, being comfortable. It is not so easy being comfortable. The mental direction is continuously steered inward by focusing on body sensation. I believe now it is clear to you. So we are aware of the body sensations. We are aware of the body sensations. And what are those sensations? Sensation, comfort, and steadiness. To steer or to keep the mind, to steer inward the mind. Now, clarity is very important. Knowledge is very important. The somatic focus supports calming the mind. Somatic means bodily. So how we do it, and you already know it, how we do it. You look at the neck joint mentally. Look at the your neck joint. So you have already changed the direction. But it's a bodily joint. And you stay there. Either you look inside the joint or at just from outside. When I say look at the neck joint, it means the mind has to go inside. Mind changes the direction. Look inside the neck joint. Just be there. Stay focused internally. And then what happens? Somatic experience. Where is that sensation? Comfort and steadiness. It's very simple when we understand it clearly. And it's very difficult and almost impossible if we don't understand clearly. Oh, so sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So now the mind moves on the skin of the body from the top of the head to the toes. Or if I can also say, what they move the mind on the skin of the body, touching or mind, allow the mind to touch the skin of the body. You see, I simply change the phrase to make you understand. So when you experience the sensations on the skin of the body, you've already changed the direction. That is the goal we want in this step. And then we say how to goal has to be achieved. You experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Now the knowledge part again. The inward focus of the mind, if I say inward focus of the default mind, is essential. Why? For changing the habitual outward distractions and enter into the discerning intellect. Sometimes we have a casual approach. No, no, I know, yeah, I have to do that being. No, no. You have to be, you have, you have to be very clear. So when I say change of direction, it supports sustaining comfort and steadiness during meditation practice. Experiencing comfort is required to allow the practitioner to sit in a posture for a longer period. Experiencing sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So now you see, third, next step is we say casually. Yeah, it's being carefree. You take it casually, but your understanding should be committed. So we have changed the direction. When we change the direction, we look inside where we into the mind, where the thoughts, feeling, and emotions are moving. One, and second is something that is not moving. How can you say that? It is not moving. The observer is not moving. Oh, so it is, and observed is always changing. Is always changing. Now you see the intrinsic and incidental nature. Oh, both are available, yes. Both are available, and both are available. And what happened when we change the direction of the mind, we can easily understand it. We can easily experience it. We can easily understand and experience. What experience? That all the thoughts, feelings, and emotions are not me. So what has happened? The incident you told me just now before the beginning of a meditation. Oh, that incident happened. It is incident happened. Incident, incidental. Oh, it's an incidental visitors. Thoughts and emotions are temporary. They have come to go, making them incidental. It is not that it took one day for you to relax and calm down. Because you allowed the default mind to mess with you. Mess with you. How come? How come? Incidental and intrinsic natures mixed up. How due to? Do you know? Due to delusion or ignorance. So then what happened? Then you became that thought, you became that thought, that event, and that incident. And then what happened? After 24 hours, that level of attachment, that level of mixing diluted, and you can experience calmness. So, calmness was already there. That needs to be properly understood. So, how to understand that is why we have the step of being carefree. I see, separate oneself from the thought, feeling, and emotions. So, how we separate? By being aware of the two. What are the two? One is the observer and other is the observed. But how to begin with it? So how to begin with it? Say simply, any thought comes, feeling comes to the mind, you say mentally, it is a thought. It is a thought of anxiety or reaction or whatever. I am not a thought. I am not anxiety because it is a part of the thought. I am separate from it. I am separate and independent of it. You have to say it mentally and then wait. So recognize the uninvited and unwelcome thoughts are temporary distractions, the same way. So you are watching the thought, feeling, and emotions come and then leave, but you do nothing. Who do nothing? The observer in you is doing nothing. Who will try to do everything? Now you can easily answer, it is the default mind. But why? Because the observer and observed appears one. What it means? Again understand. So the thought of reaction is there. So that thought becomes you. No, intellectually it looks simple, but everyday practice will help us to reach to that state. Realize that whatever thoughts enters the mind, they are not you. Similar to how your house or a car is separate from you. Your phone is separate from you. You say my phone, okay, that is okay. My phone, my house, my say business, and a long list, but not me. but not me. Why? I am a knower or observer or seer, not seen. Another way that we should remember, I whatever I know, experience, think, is seen, is known, is observed, is incidental, is temporary. Why? Because the mind, default mind, because the mind is experiencing. Simple. And I'm not the mind also. When we do this, we also start experiencing the infinite space. Now, because there is a separation, when there is no separation, we don't see the space. But when we recognize the separation. You don't create, you recognize the space or separation. You do not create the space or separation. It is always there. Yes, it is always there. It is always there. Yes, it is always there. So it means when I don't recognize there is a delusion. Yes, there is a delusion. So how easy it is, but by committed practice you will reach to that state. By committed practice, how easy it is always there. How easy it is by committed approach. What will happen? You will find out, you will instantly separate the two, and when you separate the two, even in difficult, challenging situation, you can reflect that calmness or peace from within. First time we recognize this peace and the calmness doesn't come from outside. So now this is explained as detachment. So now if we use the word detachment, so the detachment allows the seeker, what I'm going to say, the detachment allows the seeker to avoid reacting emotionally to the thoughts and feeling. So you see, the knower and the known are separate. So I see the space and then I maintain calmness, and I maintain the calmness. In that state, it is easy for me to take a right decision. What is that right decision? If action, then it is a nitya karma. What is right, good, and proper? Can I correct this? Yes. I told you I filed the amended tax return. So amended tax return means there is some correction. I should take or I should give, both way. The government, those officers are sitting to demand more. No, no, you have made a wrong filing. You have to pay more. No, I have paid more. You have to take. It's both way. It is the nitya karma. So recognizing this separation leads to experience of emptying the mind. Oh, that is our goal, yes. But if you don't understand these thought, feeling, and emotions, you already messed up with the observer and observed. So then what happens? You try to control the mind. You try to suppress it. And then it doesn't work. It will not work even for 20 years you have been doing a meditation practice. Oh, yes, that's why the people fail. Knowledge, understanding, both recognizing this separation is very important. So 20 years you have no separation, so you try to fight with the thought. Attempting to force or control the mind is not the practice of meditation, will make you more crazy as the days passes. So now we have a space. Oh, we have a space. So we can drop. What we can drop? We can drop the mantra. Why? To bring about a change in the mind. So the mantra serves as a tool to realign the mind with its essential nature of permanent happiness. Permanent. So what is the temporary cover? It is the stress, anxiety, conflict are defined as the temporary nature. Oh, that is why we say Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. And deep behind, you're aware of the space where you are dropping it. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Simple translation, may there be happiness for all. May there be happiness for all. You are looking behind the thought of happiness. Happiness is a state inside. May there be happiness for all. And you stay there as if you are absorbed. It is within you. May there be happiness for all. For all means outside also, yes. Inside also, yes. Oh. Now see that you had a thought of anxiety, you were in anxiety. Reflection. So that we will understand. So you had a thought of anxiety, you were in anxiety. Why? Because of default mind. What the default mind did, default mind mixed observer and observed. So many principles, subtle principles are there. But now you say, may there be happiness for all. And we say the happiness is our essential nature, intrinsic nature. So it is with us all the time. With us all the time. Yes. So it is with everyone all the time. Yes. This conviction is absent. This conviction is absent even after understanding. Now on the other side you see, if I explain you on the other side, you said I am in anxiety. It is a delusion. Why it is a delusion? Caused by the default mind. What is delusion? that appears but not true. That is clear. So, what is happening in our life? What is happening in our life? We claim delusion as true and we doubt our permanent happiness inside. You see, that is the great ignorance. That is the great ignorance. You just see clearly. I am not saying that you have to believe it. So it means where is the problem? The intellect understands but does not have a conviction. So if it does not have it does not have conviction, then what? Then it follows what the default mind says. And then we get into trouble. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. You are aware inside, you have a heightened level of awareness, and you see that peace is already there in that space. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Peace is there. We are not seeking something which is not available. So the peace is my nature, peace is your nature, peace is the nature of everyone. In fact, that peace is intrinsic. Intrinsic means it is permanent. Okay, I understood. Then why you are worried? Can peace and the worry go together? Can peace and the worry go together? Answer is big no. But why it is happening? Why it is happening? It is happening because of delusion, or you can say ignorance, or you can say the impurity of the mind. From the impurity of the mind perspective, it is attachment and detachment problem. From the delusion point of view, it is what appears true. From delusion point of view, what appears true is not true. What appears true? Anxiety, pain, reaction, not true, but claimed real, claimed intrinsic. How simple it is. And from the impurity point of view, we already know the impurities of the mind is attachment and aversion. Do you see? So second master teaches from the point of view of attachment and aversion and ignorance. Third point of view, that I am real self, I am not the false I. All the three needs a conviction. All three needs conviction. And conviction, then the first step of conviction is to move from default mind to discerning intellect. What is the way? That is the practice we are doing it. Sarvesham, Sarvesham, Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham, Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham, Purnam Bhavatu. May there be wholeness for all. May there be wholeness for all. Wholeness, completeness. Completeness. Just analyze if you are complete in all respects, the sense of completeness is present in the mind. Will the mind run after or chase anything outside? No. So when it doesn't chase anything, that is one. When it experiences the sense of completeness too, and the mind is already living within, it experiences freedom from all the desires for seeking happiness outside. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. May there be auspiciousness for all. May there be auspiciousness for all. So I just give a simple explanation of auspiciousness. In a given moment when you are happy, living in peace and sense of completeness, that is the moment of auspiciousness. Because peace, happiness and completeness are our intrinsic nature, it means we should be in the state of auspiciousness all the time. All the time? Yes. So to live in the state of auspiciousness, I said peace, happiness and wholeness. What I have to do? I have to do nothing. So when I do nothing, it is a higher awareness. In that higher awareness, there is observer, and the observed is clear. Are clear, we find the separation. Means we are training or educating the mind not to mess up with any incidental nature. So what to do with that? No, nothing to do. Just look at the breath. Why look at the breath? The breath goes in, you are looking. Comes out, you are looking. Goes again inside, you are looking. Comes outside, you are looking again. So the continuous awareness on the breath without changing, prevents your default mind. Oh, it prevents the default mind? Prevents the default mind to return. You maintain the discerning intellect. So behind that awareness of the breath, you find totally blank, empty space. On the surface, there may be the thoughts may come and go, and ultimately you have a reduction of the thought. Reduction of the thought. You have a reduction of the thought. You have a reduction of the thought. That is what we say a cognitive change. Oh, that is what your cognitive means. We, by cause and effect, we know. This is the cognitive change. And when we have a cognitive change, you need not to worry. The life is always beautiful. So now you know clearly. What you know clearly? Why you know clearly that you are aware of the breath. Clear? You see that, the step number 6. What is that? The clarity of awareness of the breath. What it means. What it means, we are just trying to understand in a deeper way. What it means. What it means. So, behind the awareness of the breath, there is emptiness. On the surface of the breath, we may find some thoughts are coming and leaving, coming and leaving. So now what happens? Your mind settles into what? Incidental versus essential nature. Mind is settled into becoming versus being. It settles, I'm using the very higher principles, and it is, we reach there by different steps. What exists versus existence. So it is good to practice when you have the challenges. You should have practiced to see that within an hour you moved into a different state. That is important. And you see, we did a very simple practice, but understanding. We brought the cognitive understanding of you can also chant mentally. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Wait, see inside. As the mind, you have to lean on to this peace within. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside, know your experience. Bring the hands down. You see how simple it is? Simple means that we understand it clearly. Cognitive understanding. So understanding brings the change. But we normally put lot of effort on the practice without understanding. And then you practice for 20 years, there is no change.
Yeah, it's true.
Mind is like a lake. When the wind of thoughts blows, waves rise and distort your reflection. It doesn't go inside. I cannot see the depth inside the pond or a lake. But as the wind settles, the water becomes still and your true self appears clearly. That is the journey. So never leave commitment. You have to commit to yourself. Yes, I will be able to earn money in the next hour, but pay more attention to my discovering my nature. Don't leave the practice. Recognize the two states of mind. That needs to be understanding. Default mind, discerning mind. So whether you say incidental nature or intrinsic nature or essential nature, it is the same mind that is recognizing. You recognize becoming and being. The thought comes and leaves is the becoming process. And being does not change. Observer and observe. So pause before reacting. Oh, reaction is incidental nature. Let me prepare a response and then I will do. So what happens? You go. So you recognize the disturbances. We already discussed the poise method, and we discussed the insist, deliberate effort, committed. I have to insist. I have to insist my knowledge into the practice. Default mind insists the anxiety and the reaction. Realizing peace is not created, it is uncovered from within. Take an example of the default mind. When you stop fighting in your thoughts and start observing them, you discover the immense strength in stillness. You discover that incidental nature is not the strength. Behind that, there is something, observer, that does not change. That is your discerning intellect. That discerning intellect is not cold, it is not detached, it is alert, it is compassionate and wise. So, what we normally think, oh, discerning intellect, it is cold, detached. It is inner calmness, is not a weakness, it is a power. That is, we need to do it. So, take an example. When someone criticizes you, the reactive mind wants to defend or attack. So this is my weakness. This is not the power. But the discerning intellect pauses, listens, understands, chooses peace. That very shift transforms conflict into clarity. Thank you, my partner. Do it again next year. And then, then you say, okay, do it next year also. Yeah, mistake happens for everyone. Yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah, but
intentional mistakes are really a problem. So we have to guard ourselves. So next year, just 2 months before, when he is filing the tax, you say him that, are you aware? What are you doing? Are you doing it right? Everything is right in order. And when everything is right in order, you are there.